And we are live once more. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, how you doing? It's that time of night. It's 9 o'clock on Monday night here out on the East Coast, and that tells us that it's Relics of War time. Welcome to all our fans who have come back tonight. Good to see you here. We are going to be picking right up where we left off, but first, a quick introduction of all our gamers. Starting at the upper left, and we're going to work around in the circle. We're going to start off by Seth. Seth, introduce us. Tell us what you're playing tonight.
I am still Seth, and because he did not die, I am still Grandma Twinpines.
Hey! Hey!
Oh, I think we should. You know what? We're going to continue on this list. Aria, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Aria, and my character also did not die. So I'm still playing Cheryl, the tag-along human that has sort of gracefully introduced herself to this group and is intending to fly a ship she has never flown before.
Nice. Nice. And Kitty?
Hi, I'm Kitty Doe, playing as Dorsil, who is trying to fix a non-working ship.
And
However that'll go.
And also didn't die.
I was about to say,
it's alive.
I was kind of wondering there.
I didn't feel a need to rub it in. I felt like life was just like, you know, the normal state of being. Didn't know it was that hard to live.
Comedy comes in threes, Kitty. We got threes. It comes in threes.
Which brings us to this last mysterious individual. John, introduce us and tell us about who you're playing.
Hi, I'm John. I was creative enough to have a very dramatic and impactful and wonderful death within the first sessions, and so skilled enough to, you know, have a 1 in 20 chance occur twice on death saves. You know, it was the bad one, not the good one, but, you know, I was still skilled enough to get a really rare thing. So I think that counts for a lot. But yeah, I died. But I'm back, but not actually. Well, kind of. Well,
Flashes.
You'll find out.
John is.
Yeah.
John's still here for some reason.
Still Seth, still John, still Aria, still Kitty, still here. That might be the name of us. We're still here. We're not dead yet. Well, some of us are, but we're still here. We still have Flash's body. We're going to jump right into this as we talk about each of the players. Where we left off the last couple of weeks, our intrepid band of confused heroes who were used as the front wave shock troops of a pirate ship that they foolishly signed onto for, you know, that lucrative free money. They took the job, they went into battle, everybody's dead, the pirate ship went down, and now they're on the ship that they attacked, which is dysfunctional and hovering in the middle of the air. And then the players started exploring. During that exploration, they did the wisest thing that any Dungeons & Dragons group can ever do, and I highly recommend it, which is split the party. So naturally, in this process, hopping through acid puddles, going around in different directions, our Goblin Master Flash blew up, literally. To try to take some other people with him, but, you know, he was the only one that truly died despite the heroic CPR attempts. And in the meantime, the other individuals who knew we're on the middle of a ship in the air that's going nowhere, it was being robbed, somebody's probably going to come along, we would think, and if we're the pirates, they might not be too happy with us. Maybe we should get out of here. And they started exploring the ship. We're going to pick right up with Kitty, who was the last individual we left off with. Kitty, who's playing a character, Dorsil, is a rock gnome and was exploring the ship avidly and has made it the farthest into the deepest depths, into the storage room. She went through one storage room and now has found a storage room with Warforged in it. And she is bound and determined to fix the ship. She has seen the supporting arm of the elemental wood arms that extend from the sides of the ship. One had gotten knocked offline. And now she figures somehow she's going to be strong enough, this little tiny gnome, to push it back into place. But first, she had to reach it, which required her to jump on top of this Warforged. Take it away, Kitty.
Yeah, so after a long, drawn-out, half-asking the Warforged, Dorsil decides, you know, it's asleep anyway. It's not going to care if I just happen to climb up onto it to get at the beam that I need to get to. So deciding that asking it for formality's sake isn't really necessary, he just starts climbing it.
And to add to the scene for all our viewers, we didn't really get into it. It was near the end of the show. This entire storage room that she has come across is filled with numerous Warforged that were previously lined up against the walls and are scattered across the ship because the ship fell at an angle when it was rammed by the pirate ship. The only one left standing is the one she's considering jumping upon, which is standing pretty much upright. Even though the ship is at an angle, this Warforged has adjusted itself. So the ship's at an angle and the Warforged is standing upright. Take it away, Kitty.
Alright, so I'm climbing up this thing to get to the beam.
Okay. You start climbing up it. I'd like you to make an acrobatics roll, please, and let us know how it turns out.
Alright,
acrobatics.
15.
15. You actually make it up for a boy. I'll tell you, those little tinker's hands do quite well for you. You make it all the way up for the Warforged. You, it's beautiful. I love it. You make it all the way up the Warforged onto its head. You're balancing on top of it, and you can't quite reach the beam. You think you'd have to pretty much jump to actually connect with it and then hang on, if that's what you really want to do.
Well, I am wearing my jumping boots today. Well, at least as of today, they're my jumping boots. So, I'm going to jump off this guy's head and hopefully not land, but grab onto the beam. At least touch it like you're trying to touch the top of a door.
It's going to require a real leap since you're balancing on top of this Warforged's head.
Okay. Am I doing acrobatics again?
I think that would be great.
All right. 19. Natural 20, sorry. Minus the 1.
That was really fantastic. You actually jump off and launch off of this head, reaching up, grabbing the beam. What does it look like when you catch onto this massive beam?
It's like I use the momentum from my epicness to like swing around on top of the beam.
Fantastic. Now, the whole beam has been shifted offline. That's something that you notice automatically. But you can't figure out off the bat right away how to fix it. Do you have any suggestions or anything that you want to try as a tinkerer?
Well, presumably, like, I'm assuming like the beam like enters into something like somewhere where cogs are going. So if I can walk myself over to whatever wall has like some sort of panel or something that like it's entering into the wall. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense, but like maybe I can like access the cogs of the beam.
There are some braces there that hold it in place, and the cogs that you were looking for, sure enough, with your tinker's eyes, you realize something incredibly unusual, because you're like, this is solid bracing, and yet you're like, how could these possibly adjust? Using your tinker skills, you start going over towards the edge, you peel back an outer layer, and you realize the ship itself, this beautiful lacquered black wood, is a surface covering. The ship itself has cogs inside the hull. It's nothing like you've ever seen before. The ship is partially clockwork.
Well,
take a plot point for that. I didn't expect you to find that out this early.
All right, well, clockwork happens to be one of my specialties. So, I shall be trying to find, hopefully it's something small, like there's a jam with the cogs, but that's what I'm going to be doing, is I'm going to be trying to find this, fix this as fast as possible. We got to get moving.
I'm going to let you think of some ways that you want to manipulate that, and we're going to cut over that massive Granok Twinpines and find out what this half-orc is doing.
Well, he is currently carrying the body of his recently fallen comrade, as well as the bag of teeth. It's got both of them. So he's going to go ahead and, for a lack of knowing what else to do, go ahead and advance to where he saw Doris disappear to. The door ahead, I guess, through this alchemist, this now defunct alchemist lab. As defunct as it gets.
You make him through, you get all the way through, and there's a ladder there after you get through this lab, which, as you said, there's a lot of alchemist things inside here, and you now know that much of it is both explosive, but also other types of goos and mixtures that you can't figure out what they do, at least not yet. You would need somebody who's into sage crafting, something like that, who's really into the chemical or spell side of things.
So Granok is not intelligent, but Granok is wise, and from he has new wisdom, and that new wisdom is don't jump on the tables.
Time.
Great wisdom.
So he doesn't do that. He'll just go ahead and avoid the chemicals and approach the ladder.
Avoiding the chemicals, you do manage to step by. As you enter into this ladder room, you can stay on this floor and go further and check out, because the floor, this ladder that you're at, is in the middle of 2 rooms. The room that the ladder is attached to, you can see the doors open as if somebody has been in it before. And looking in, you see numerous Warforged, because I believe Granok has seen Warforged before.
Yeah,
except there's something odd about them. Oh yeah, then you probably don't want to go in the room.
So House Cannith sells these things. They don't really sell them to the marshes, though. So the Shadow Marches. So typically, when Granok sees a Warforged, he's on the business end of the sword, metaphorically speaking. So he kind of freezes in place, and kind of takes Flash, gently sets Flash down, puts the bag of teeth on Flash, and then draws his great club, looking around suspiciously.
Are you gonna smash the teeth into Flash? Oh wait, no, that would be
no. There's Warforged around.
Look, I can get these teeth
Warforged
to stay
that
in.
was a friend. So, yeah.
Walking into the room, you realize very quickly within the first couple steps, these are not complete Warforged. These Warforged have been vivisected. They have been pulled apart. And in fact, as you're starting to look, I'd like you to make a... Do you just want to look around the room, or do you want to like start moving things and checking things?
Oh, he's going to absolutely assess the situation before he even takes another step.
So make a perception roll then.
Oof.
Oh,
6.
Here's one of the things. You realize as you're looking around that some of these vivisected Warforges are alive still. You can see the way some of them have tried to pull themselves off of tables and whatnot. And you're pretty certain that if you walk in this room, it's going to be like an undead rising on you.
Yeah. Okay. Granok will take a step back and look around for his living companion and shout out, Doris, are you here?
I'm going to answer for Doris. Normally I'd let her, but she's levels away, so there's no reply.
Cool.
Sorry, Doris.
That's okay. I'm doing important things.
All right. Yeah. He's going to go ahead and grab one of Flash's limbs and carefully drag him back into the previous room in that case.
In the goo? You're just going to leave him in the laboratory goo?
No, he's going to pick him up before he gets to the goo. He's just making sure he has his weapon at the ready in case these Warforged do start moving. That's, he's a good fighter, but these things were made for it, and
healthy respect.
He's outnumbered in a large way. So,
speaking of large, as you're thinking about how you're outnumbered in a large way, your eyes notice one thing that does stand out. In the middle of the room is probably one of the largest Warforges you've ever seen in your life, laid out on a table. Its back covered in spines and ridges, and you weren't even sure it was a Warforged at first until you happen to notice, yeah, the arms have been taken off of it, and here's this gigantic thing, but the head, which was hanging down, looks almost too massive to be any normal Warforged you've ever seen, and you're like, oh crap, if that thing gets up, its jaw alone could take your head right off.
Wait. I think Could Granok have seen one of these before? I think this is a special kind of Warforged that you're describing. Seth, the player, is aware.
Yeah, this is a juggernaut. that has.
Well, no,
been...
beyond the Juggernaut. Like I remember, like there was there's Seth the player knows of like body collectors, like that's specifically what they're designed for. But I don't know. I don't know if Granok would know that.
Well, you did say that Granok has a history with them, so I'm going to let you make a history roll on that one. Let's see if you actually know.
All right. You know, with this low intelligence, let's see what happens. No, that's a 7. It's just real big Warforged. It's just really big.
Yeah. Yeah.
The guy.
It's
he
big.
drank his robo milk.
Are you gonna, after you drag Flash back into the other room, are you gonna be heading down the ladder?
So the ladder's between these two rooms, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. I didn't get a response from Doris. I've got Flash, so I think the responsible thing to do is he will take Flash and do like a fireman's carry and go back through the alchemy lab. And he'll return to oh shoot, what's her name? Cheryl.
Cheryl,
Oh,
that
Cheryl.
would be
Cheryl.
yeah,
Because he knows where Cheryl is. You know, figures he'll just leave Flash with her and then go searching for Doris again.
Okay, I'm going to have you going back in that direction, and I'm going to cut ahead to Cheryl, who we had left off last week up in the pilot's room. Cheryl had been looking around. She had found a dead body with a dagger stuck in the back of it at what appeared to be a helm control system, unlike anything she was experienced with at all. It didn't look like the ship, the Cloud Silver, that they had been on before, or the Silver Cloud, I think it was, that they had been on before. This one was different. It had places for her palms to rest on, and she had actually moved it in an attempt and found the ship lurched as a result before it stopped. And what we didn't get into was when it stopped, there was this blaring sound, this and all of a sudden on the walls, what she had thought were these hanging crystal platters, like cut sheets of crystal, started lighting up. 3 huge ones, easily 3 feet long on each wall for a scale of 9 feet, and 3 on the other wall to her right and left. And suddenly there's visualizations, and there's these red runes scrolling across them. What languages do you speak?
I speak human, or common and gnomish. I speak human.
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 Is that Brellish human, or is that which human is that? You have the common tongue as well as the Elvish, and
no, gnomish, common and gnomish.
Ah, okay. So you speak common and gnomish, and when you go over or you're looking at the screens from this distance, you can't tell exactly what they say. The runes look strange, as if they're formed differently than you would normally write. You're welcome to go over and inspect them, or stay here and work more with the controls, or leave the room altogether.
Go inspect the runes, even though I doubt I'll be able to read them.
When you get closer to them, you're confused, but there's symbols as well. You're certain it's not runes, because they're square, they're round, and some of them are flashing and some of them aren't, which is incredibly odd. So you know it's magic. This is a deep magic here. And you notice the runes are actually not just in place. On the one crystal wall, they're actually moving across, scrolling across the screen.
Are they scrolling in some sort of pattern, or just in like a consistent, like...
Picture your computer, and the words are coming on one edge of the screen and passing off the other edge of the screen.
Oh. Do the symbols seem to like change at all as I watch them, or like maybe it's a message scrolling in different languages, or like, or is it just like a repeated message over and over again?
You stop and you watch it, and as you do so, you realize that it is the same message over and over again.
Okay. Just continue to chill and wait. In a bit, I'll try flying the ship again. We'll have to see if they've fixed things.
As you do so, you go back over. You know, you notice that the other ones are all indicating different runes. This one happens to be flat, as I said, scrolling. Other ones are flashing. You go back over. I want you to make another Well, exactly how are you doing this with the controls? Are you trying to manipulate them subtly with your hands? Are you trying a thought thing? Tell me what your intent is as you go into this.
Well, my intent is, much like last time, I kind of want to start to right the ship. So the side that's kind of up, I'm not going to push on it quite as hard this time. I'm going to try and like push a little lighter just to see if I can slowly get it righted instead of pulling on something that's like super broken. Just try to get it nudged.
As you do, make a give me a percentage check for me. Let's see how good you are at this.
That's not how that works. Is there a roll? I guess I'll do 2d10. The first one will count as my. And so a 29.
Ooh, okay. As you do so, on the other screen to your right, the crystals change color, and you feel the ship shudder. The thrumming sound, which had been a slow thrum, speeds up. And then all of a sudden the screen goes from just, it starts scrolling the runes in the same way as the screen to your left, and the runes actually change from a yellow to a red.
Uh-oh. Guys, I think I broke it!
Doris, down inside where you were with the gears, you're standing on this, and I need you to make an acrobatics check to try to stay on top as suddenly this beam underneath you moves.
Another nat 20.
Wow.
Dude.
See, Flash.
Doris has determination.
Likely thing, but in a good way.
So this massive thing starts moving back and forth, and you realize now that there's chains on that you had thought were just for hanging things in the walls at the far end are part of the lever system. These chains pull into other parts of the storage room, manipulating this massive arm. And because she started moving this, you realize something else. You had peeled back the one piece of wood, and you can now see where some of the gears are actually chattering, trying to move, and you know that something has pierced and is jamming it, has fallen down. One of the gears is out of place. So you'll have advantage when you come to fix this now.
Thank you. What's your character's name?
Cheryl.
Cheryl. Thank you, Cheryl.
It's like the plainest name, so it's the hardest one to remember.
You know.
Cheryl, I need you to, as you're standing there, I need you to make an Arcana check, please.
12.
As you do so, the screen with the scrolling text on the side of it, the one that has just lit up,
Yes.
behind the text, for a brief moment, you'd swear you just saw Doris Till, and you saw his lips moving, and then it went back to a blank screen again, with just the runes.
Doris? Doris, are you behind the wall?
As you start speaking out loud, the runes that are on all the screens start flipping, fuzzing, and come back clearer, and they're written in common now. You realize they were written in another language before, and suddenly you're reading things that like error, jam in right wing, support, error, load, off balance, error, and as you're looking to each screen, it's telling you something wrong in each part of the ship. Pilot in position, not attuned, is on one of the screens too.
Not attuned. I need to try and spend some time attuning to this magic ship.
Well, right now you'd be attuning to a broken ship, but...
Right, but like, in theory, they're fixing things. They might need an hour to do this. I might need to take an hour to try and attune to this pilot's cockpit here.
I'm thinking of that Lord of the Rings sword, and I'm like, well, if it's still pieces of, what was it, Narsil or something like that? Doesn't matter if you're attuned to it or not, it's in pieces. Fix it first.
Like, in theory, once they fix it, we don't want to have to then wait an hour. Like,
Totally your call. As you're doing it, you're standing there when suddenly you hear footsteps coming up behind you. And that's where I'm going to cut off as we go over to John. John, tell us where you're at and what you're hearing and what you're experiencing.
Well, I was having quite a pleasant not nap. And I heard lots of noises, and someone kicked me in the head a couple of times. And so I assumed I'd arrived at my destination. And so I assume I'm the footsteps, right?
You are the footsteps? Is that what you're saying?
Am I the footsteps?
No, you are not the footsteps.
Okay.
No, you are in the room where we talked about before, still waiting, still standing.
Okay, so hearing the sort of
the person
clanking, I suppose, right?
Yeah, you're hearing all the chains move above you. You know, you're familiar with things moving around, and as far away Cheryl moved the controls and the beam above you started to move once more, you heard one of the crew members up there moving around on top of it. But more importantly, some of these other Warforged slid across the floor and banged into the wall. You had to adjust your stepping.
Yeah. So I'm looking around and I state to the room essentially, have we arrived?
And Doris, you hear that. A new voice. Not one of your friends.
I knew I had voices in my head, but I've never heard them.
That definitely wasn't Flash.
Clearly.
Where's the rest of the
No, we haven't arrived yet. What? We will arrive at the solution soon.
Not yet. Precisely when we're meant to be there. Don't make me turn around.
Hush voices, hush.
That doesn't...
Trying to work.
What? I'm not... I mean, I am a voice, I suppose, but... Where are you? And he sort of looks around.
Well, I suppose you can't really see me, because you're a voice in my head. But we're on a crashed ship, remember?
Wait, crashed?
How could... What?
I thought the ship was fine.
My voices are starting to get strange personalities. Should probably get that checked out.
I believe I'm my own voice.
Your own
Identify
voice?
yourself. I'm Silver Codex.
Well, hello, Silver Codex. I'm Doris Till.
Hello, Doris.
Where are you?
Where are you?
I asked first. Well, I am there.
Where is there?
You can be here and there, but not anywhere.
I believe you are above me.
I'm working on the ship.
Working on the...
If I look below and see anything terrifying, I'm not coming down. Are you a terrifying creature?
You look down, and looking down, the only thing you see...
Where are you?
You look down, and what you see is the Warforged that you climbed up, but it is now out of position. It has moved.
I did ask to climb you. I did ask. I swear.
Knock.
I don't remember any requests to mount me being placed.
I said, may I please climb you? Would you mind? Never mind. I guess you're asleep. And I started climbing you.
Please refrain from doing that in the future.
But I will need to get down, and
I'm quite sure.
And you look like I could jump onto you and not take damage from the hard floor. The hard floor looks much further and much more painful than climbing down onto you.
Well, it's a lot closer to get onto him. If you try and jump all the way to the floor, it's over a 10-foot drop, so we know with D&D rules, that would be rolling for damage.
It's like the equivalent of 3 stories for a gnome.
He just wants to increase your damage. He's looking for somebody else to die.
No, I'm not.
Where is the ship? Why haven't we arrived? Where's the captain?
Where do you think we're arriving? The captain is, overboard. Which I had nothing to do with.
The captain is overboard.
Overboard.
Excuse... Come down here this instant.
I have to fix the ship. It will not be coming down, and you are frankly far more terrifying than you were when you were asleep.
I am not going to harm you.
I'm in the zone. I'm in the zone.
What zone?
The zone of fixing the ship. Are you the one?
There's a location of fixing the. Please explain.
Pretty good level 1 spells on and fixing.
I've been looking for someone.
Who?
Maybe you. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. Give me a few minutes to fix the ship, and then we can talk. And Doris is going right back to fixing the ship.
Do you have any tools on you, Doris?
Yes. Tinker's tools.
I will let you make a dexterity check. It's really strong. Are you? I don't think you're strong. Are you stronger or more dexterous?
My strength's at a 10. My dexterity's at a -1 at 9.
Well, as I said, it really is more of a strength thing anyway, because you have to lift this gear back into place.
Right.
So I will allow you to make a strength-based athletics to try and use your tools to wedge this one gear back up into place.
Okay.
Gnome has -1 dexterity.
And you said I get advantage on this, or earlier?
I did. That's right, because you have advantage on this roll. Take a plot point for remembering that.
Yay! All right. So, do I roll twice then?
No,
No,
that's
that
two separate
is your
rolls.
2 rolls.
Oh! Okay.
Wow. 3 sessions in.
I had no idea why there were 2 numbers.
3 sessions in, she's still alive.
I got a 10.
So, yeah, you realize
got
you're
a
going to need to get
rock.
some strength maybe from that Warforged beneath you if you want to try and get this into place. Either that or you're going to have to find Granite. Speaking of which, while you decide whether or not you want to engage this Warforged in a more productive manner, we're going to cut over to Granite, who's carrying his little buddy Flash. So, you come up the
Flash
steps,
under your dash.
out onto the deck, and you realize the ship's still sitting at its angle. You can see a door open in front of you that wasn't open before when you went down originally. And you're looking around, you're on the deck, and Cheryl isn't here.
Yeah, he'll call out for Cheryl to see if she responds.
Cheryl, you do hear the voice. He's right outside the door behind you, so it's easy enough to hear.
In here, pilot's room. Next set of doors over.
Oh, okay. I don't know where the pilot's room is. So.
Straight across from you. You came up the stairs. It's 10 feet in front of you.
Okay. Yeah, he'll walk in.
All these red flashing messages with errors all around me. I may have broke it, but I'm gonna fix it.
Well, it's not the only thing around here that needs fixing, I'm afraid.
What happened to Flash?
A lot of things happen to Flash.
I don't have any healing tonics.
That's not good.
Do we carry any?
I think he
He's pretty
might.
dead.
He might be dead.
I could check. Do you not know?
I think it looked like he was going to pull through for a moment. He goes and he kneels down and puts Flash gingerly onto the floor.
Go over, start checking for a pulse to kind of try and verify that our friend is dead. My friend of so many years.
Long traveled companion.
Yeah, he's super dead. He's not even kind of a little dead. It looks like he kind of super died.
I hate all of you.
Did you hear that?
So he's still with us, though. And here we carry him in our hearts. And apparently our minds.
Oh.
Might all need to get those checked. We might be collectively going crazy.
Collectively tripping. I sincerely doubt this, but you wouldn't happen to know anything about flying a magic ship.
You're joking. You're joking, right?
Yes. I will figure out flying the ship. Occasionally, I do see Doris behind the wall here, behind that screen down wherever Doris is fixing things. It's either magic or this is like a one-way viewing thing, and Doris is on the other side of the wall.
One of the things I should note, you had mentioned that you now saw Flash, and of course the door is behind you, near the back of the ship, and you're facing the front. Does that mean you let go of the controls to go talk to him and whatnot at this time? Because as soon as you did to notice him, all the flashing lights and whatnot went off.
Well, I mean, she went to go check and see if Flash was okay.
Alive, so yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, those had gone off. And you've figured out enough now to know that they only remain on when you either approach them, then they come back into focus, or when you're actually standing up there, they first come on when you put your hands there, but they'll stay on while you're standing in that place. But if you leave, they turn off.
Maybe you can bring some of this information down to Doris. I go over and I'll put my hands back on it because there's error messages, and I'm sure this is information that Doris might find useful.
Well, there's a problem.
What's that?
We're not alone. There's a contingent of Warforged down below deck.
Ah, yes, I see. Are they trying to kill us?
Is this the end?
Do they know how to fly the ship?
If you want to ask, I'm not looking to die today.
Neither am I, hence why I'm trying to fly a ship that I have never, ever tried to fly before.
I have no idea where Doris went.
You know, landing can't be so hard so long as I try to crash us as gingerly as possible.
That might be our best solution.
I'm thinking that's what I'm going to try for, but, like, maybe I've got a future as a pilot one day.
Let's hope.
Yeah, so
the future part specifically.
The future part. I've got a future. I have to think that I have a future still. Positive thinking. So, I think that you should take some of these messages down to Doris. Be careful of the Warforged. If they're not awake and doing anything, don't touch them and don't press any buttons.
Are you an expert on Warforged?
They look mechanical. I assume there's buttons. I know nothing about Warforged. Other than they're like tools of war or whatever the heck else they're told to do.
Now the Warforged, which are created by House Cannith, have been sold to all the different nations. Cannith is the ultimate Lord of War in the fact that they respect everybody's right to buy their weapons of mass destruction. So they sell equally to those that have the highest amount of money, as long as they're not going to be used against House Cannith. And there's often quite a few individuals that believe that House Cannith has certain other things, such as special Warforged or special embedded things in the magic of Warforged that would prevent them being used against House Cannith. Now, others will report that that's simply not true. They've marched against House Cannith, and House Cannith, again, is not its own nation, but they just provide to all the nations equally. So they're an arms dealer, and as an armament, they're seen pretty much everywhere. It'd be unusual for your character to not have seen a Warforged by this time in 100-year war.
I just assume that I don't know that much about them beyond just like I know of them.
Okay.
Like I've seen them. I'm not a Warforged expert. They look mechanical. Certainly, they must have buttons somewhere.
I like it.
Or like maybe there's like a fire inside them that keeps them alive, and if you douse them in water, they die.
Steam powered.
Right? Why not?
I found blunt force has been most effective so far. So.
Or witch powered.
You know, I find not engaging to be very effective.
Speaking of engaging, so what are your big plans? Who is that, Kitty?
That's Kitty. Kitty did a
I
self-portrait.
believe that's Kitty.
Now
yeah.
Kitty is holding it in front of her face.
Oh,
That way I can disappear.
how very two-dimensional.
Nobody will
of you.
know.
No one will ever know the difference. Okay, so
All right.
so we bring up these error messages.
Find Doris again, and I don't like this plan. I'm just going to put that out there. Not a fan of this plan. He's going to take his club and keep it at the ready as he goes back into the ship, looking for Doris again.
Granik, you head back down through the alchemical lab knowing to dodge certain things right now, so there's no roll necessary. And you come to the same ladder down, and you have a choice: either go into the hellish nightmare room filled with vivisected Warforged, or head down the ladder towards lower levels. Which would you prefer?
Instinctively, he's not going to go in the Warforged room. I think he would climb up, because down is bad right now.
Up
in his brain.
Up, in this case, would go right back to the deck that you just left, which is the main deck of the ship. So you can go back up to the main deck.
The ladder goes up to the deck also?
Well, if you just came out of the pilot house and went down into the ship,
Yeah.
you're one floor down. The ship has multiple levels because it's a big, deep ship. And then you've just gone along this level through the room to another ladder, which you can either go down further into the ship, you can go stay on this level into the Vivisected Warforged room, or you can go back up a ladder onto the main deck again.
Okay, so the ladder does go back up to the deck. Yeah, he'll do that and then like look around and go, I was just checking. And then he'll climb down the ladder.
As you come up the ladder and you're checking, you pop your head out and you realize you're inside of another room of the ship. And you realize it's what you had to walk around originally. You know, up above you, you see that the ladder keeps going. And in this room are racks of gigantic... From your experience, I don't know if you know crossbows and whatnot, but these would look like crossbow bolts built for a Godzilla-sized turret. And as you continue up the ladder, you come out, and there is a ballistae on top of this ship built to fend off other ships. And you realize it's a war room built so that individuals down here could hand these bolts up, load them into the ballistae, and then shoot at other ships and whatnot.
That might be good to know for later. I'll take note of that. And climb down. I don't think I'm going to find Doris here.
Okay, you go back down, heading past that deck, and the ladder, while it does continue down further, you've gone down one floor below that in pilot's floor, first floor. You go down to the second floor deep in the ship, and you notice that it's filled with cases, crates, other things. You're not sure what they are without looking at them more closely.
Yeah, as he makes, well, he'll dismount the ladder because the ladder does go further down, right?
It does.
Okay.
Absolutely.
He's going to get off here and try to make sure that he's safe here. And yeah, why not? Let's take a look in one of these boxes and see what's in it.
You're going to use your club, smash it open?
Oh, no, does it not give way? Like,
they all appear to be nailed shut.
Nailed shut?
Yep. So you could pry one open if you had a pry bar or something.
I don't believe I do. Nope. Got a club.
Give it a
it's
whack.
not the correct tool for the job. I know there's things that explode when you hit them now, so I'm not going to go smashing boxes at this point.
Well, how do you know whether these things explode? As you start to look at you haven't even checked out the writing and whatnot.
Is it in common or Orcish?
It's actually in Elvish.
Yeah, it's gross. It's gross elf writing. I don't like it.
Ew, so many pretty curly things.
Yeah, so never mind. I don't know what's in these boxes, and I don't have the right tool to find out, so keep looking.
Okay. Heading down or going further back into the ship on this level?
Let's clear out this level first.
As you start moving along the ship, going first forward towards the bow of the ship, then coming back to the ladder and going further, you realize this room, from left to right of the ship, is stacked with these boxes. And they are stacked and they are netted in so that they don't move. And you notice they're all, even though they're different shapes, different sizes and whatnot, all of them have the same Elvish writing on them. But when you start looking closer, you notice a couple of them with different handwriting actually have common. And as you start to examine the common on them, you recognize certain words that you make out quickly.
Okay.
And it talks about a number of dragon shards. Now, you know dragon shards are these magical gems that are sought out. And this box that you're looking at that has this writing on it has to easily be 3 feet wide, 2 feet high, about 3 feet deep. It's a pretty big chest. It's got this writing on it, and it says 104 dragon shards. Now, you don't have to be a brainchild to know that 1 dragon shard is wicked expensive.
Right.
And this box says it has 100?
I think we know what our professor friend was after now. That makes sense. Okay. I'll keep note of that. And I might keep it to myself. We'll see how everyone performs. Yeah, I'll remember where these are and try to find Doris.
Make an intelligence check because you just mentioned the professor.
Yeah,
Go ahead, make
I
one.
did. Don't have a very good
You might have an
intelligence check.
insight. Wisdom.
Oof, that is a 2.
That is. I'm not giving you nothing for it.
I don't deserve it. I straight up don't deserve it.
All right, well, what would you like to do now? Because, hey, means nothing. 104 dragon shards? Okay, that works.
Yeah, I could sell it for a lot later. Right now, I gotta get off the ship, so gotta find Doris.
Gotta live to sell it.
Yeah, gotta live. Living is priority 1.
As you get to the back, you find another ladder at the rear of this room. And as you're out, this ladder system ends at almost a balcony, and you're looking down at a massive hold, and you can see fruits, vegetables, other things knocked over, and you realize this is the main storage room of the ship, and they must have been ostensibly carrying lots of food, which is not too unusual for war supplies and whatnot, taking them somewhere. You can see up above you the light coming in from the grate up ahead that you had originally seen from the top of the ship, how these crates were lowered in here. But you can see further ahead, across from the balcony, that the ship has more levels and rooms back, which you would naturally understand is probably more storage for other things.
Mm-hmm. Then, I don't know how good of a glimpse I got of the ship as we were careening towards it on a collision course. Is there some way I can try and divine, just based on where these arms were going into the ship, like what deck I might need to be on? Like, can I do a survival check or something?
Sure, you think it's right about where you're at. No, you wouldn't even need to,
really?
Because, kind of halfway down the ship, and you're figuring that you've probably come down about that far. Yeah, you've got enough. Okay. You'd have to be really bad on intelligence, like a 3, to not understand this.
Well, I'm capable of rolling a 2, apparently. So
yeah, but that's a roll. That's you're smarter than that.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll continue the search for where these arms are going into the ship. See if I can find it, because I think that's where the gnome is.
Okay. You notice that they're not here. You can't see them across from you. You definitely know that you would have to go back into those other rooms if you want to find those arms.
Okay, I will do so.
So heading down the ladder, you get to the main floor. You start working your way across all this various boxes and crates of foodstuffs that have been knocked over until you find a ladder up to get back up to the floor that you were on, but in the back of the ship. And as you do so, you find yourself entering into another storage room, and it's your worst nightmare, because this is filled across the entire floor with Warforged, and with its back to you, one Warforged is standing looking up at the very beam that it must have ripped and knocked asunder, because it's looking up at it. Luckily, its back is to you, but if all the rest of these ones on the floor start standing up, you're going to be fighting in 20, 30, 40 Warforged.
Is there anything else I noticed about this room? Because this is where the arms are.
This is. You can make a perception roll.
Let's see if I get anything from it. 11.
Doris, is there anything else that he notices in this room that you're in? Does he notice you?
I mean, I'm not being quiet up there. Like, I'm really grunting, trying to get this cog or whatever it is back into place. So Doris isn't being stealthy.
So there you have it. You definitely can hear that.
Okay. Do I have visual? Can I see Doris?
Sure.
Okay. Greenock will have his great club at the ready, and he'll be like, "Doris, you've got company."
I know. I think he might be the one.
What?
But I have to finish this first. Now. What was it? Silver something? You, Warforge.
Silver Codex.
Silver Codex. Is there a rope down there? Because I could maybe tie it to this jammed cog and you could help pull and we could get it back into place.
Speaking with it?
Yes.
Rope.
Rope.
He'll look around. He'll say, you should probably ask the quartermaster.
The quartermaster is not here.
Well, where is he?
I think he fell overboard when the ship tilted.
Yes, none of your charges are with us anymore.
I see. I don't recognize any of you.
Well, we're all new. That would be why.
New.
We've defeated your entire ship. There's no point in you fighting us.
What?
So tell all of your friends here to stand down.
I had no intention of fighting my friends. I'm confused.
Let's all just focus on the rope. We can argue about who is and who isn't later. As soon as we find a rope, it gets.
Right, Doris, don't you realize how much danger we're in right now? Like, he looks at the piles of Warforged around him.
What is the ship under attack?
The attack is over as long as you and your friends don't start any more fights.
Why would I fight you? And I'm still confused. Friends? What are you talking about?
He's just Warforged. He was only forged for war. Why would he fight? What matters now is finding a rope.
I am in the room.
Chosen one, find me a rope. I have many things to discuss with you.
My name is Silver Codex, not Chosen
Codex. Please, please, almighty Silver Codex. Find me a rope.
He will look around to find something that might partially look like a rope.
This is just a weird situation.
Very strange situation.
I think Granok is in a similar position to Silver Codex, but with significantly more fear involved. Yeah.
Are we looking for the rope to find the quartermaster who fell off the ship?
That is very far way down. I don't think we will reach the ground. However, if we get the rope, we can pull this cog back into place using all of our might. And then we can fly the ship down and maybe find the quartermaster. So you want to help?
Well, as long as we get to Whitehearth, I'm fine.
I like that you care. That's a good quality to have.
And he'll look around for a rope. Is there any rope?
Examining the room, yeah, go ahead and make a perception roll. Sure.
Okay.
I think we can do that in here.
I think I got rid of my... Did I? Yes, I did. Okay. Is it wisdom or...
Yes.
Okay, it's wisdom. Okay. 7.
It is, but it's underneath some of the other Warforged. You remember where it was hanging on the wall, the back wall before the ship was hit. So you're very quick about knowing where it is, and you can see it sticking out from some of the other Warforged. Easy enough for you to go get.
Well, I'm just going to call him Codex because that's what his friends call him if he had some. Codex is going to walk over and I assume to the pile of Warforged or wherever the rope is and just yank it real hard.
The Warforged moves a little bit, flops over as you come out with 50 feet of rope.
Will this do?
Thick, heavy rope.
He calls up.
Wonderfully, Silver Codex. Wonderfully. Now toss up an end.
So he'll get like the entire bundle of rope, like as much as he can, right? And he'll just like throw it up, not really factoring in the whole end part.
So basically, you're making an acrobatics check when this rope hits you, Doris. And in the meantime, Granok, what are you doing? Doris, make yourself an acrobatics check.
Granok is staying as close to the doorway as possible.
You should assist. He'll turn to Granok and say, "You should assist in the repairs."
Oh, jeez. He doesn't really listen to the forge and looks up at Doris. Is there anything I can do from back here?
Doris, you have managed to catch the rope, so you did not fall off. You're okay.
Okay. When I say for everyone to pull on the one end of the rope, help pull. And I'm gonna since cogs have the middle piece, that way it doesn't get stuck out, because I don't want to tie it, because then it's gonna just get the rope clogged. But I want to kind of loop it around, so that way I can hold one end of the rope and then they can hold all the rest of the rope. And when we pull it back into place, I'm gonna let go of my end and have them pull the rope back.
Okay.
So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna loop it around the cog, hold on to my end of the rope, make sure that they have the rest of the rope. Ready on the count of 3. We're pulling on 3, not a second after 3, but on 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
And with a haul, the gear snaps up into place, and the arm shudders and flips quickly forward, causing you to make yet another acrobatics check to try and stay on this arm, or else you're going to fall off backwards. You fall straight down onto your head, falling to 13 feet to 10 high, plus the actual beam size is about 3 feet thick, cracking your skull and taking...
Sounded like you threw every single dice, and that was the damage.
I actually did, because I needed to find the dice I needed, and they were all in a box. So you take 2 damage.
Okay. That's not so bad.
Nope.
Is the ship damaged?
Getting in that one, that's not so bad.
You made a total of 3 balance checks to stay on that beam.
I know.
2 were 20s. One was a 1.
Codex is gonna say after you fall, is the ship repaired? And did you damage it by hitting it with your skull?
What?
Oh boy.
As you look up, the panel that you had pulled out has gone back into place, sealed itself, cutting the rope that was attached to the gear and letting the rest of the rope fall down to you. The beam that comes through this side of the ship, attached to the chains, has now moved and is in alignment with the beam on the other side of the ship that you would assume holds the other arm of the elemental ring. Up inside the pilot's deck where Cheryl is, one of the monitors stops flashing, and suddenly you can see very clearly the image of this hold, and you can see your friends and a Warforged.
Oh, excellent. They woke one of them up.
And you all down in the storage room hear a voice, and it's Cheryl's voice saying, "Oh, they've woke one of them up," as she stares at the screen.
Cheryl?
Cheryl?
And you can hear them, Cheryl.
Guys! Hey, I'm in the pilot's cockpit.
That is not the pilot.
Oh, it is
I'm the
now.
new pilot.
Cheryl.
Hello, new pilot.
Hello, Warforged.
Do you need
Another
rope?
name.
My name is Silver Codex.
Nice to meet you, Silver Codex. You do not want to kill us, correct?
Correct.
Pleasure to meet you. Did you guys get the ship fixed? I've got all sorts of error messages up here I can, start reading to you.
It has been thoroughly disgruntling to meet you.
Oh, I'm sorry to have disgruntled you.
At Cheryl's question, Greenock will look at Doris and say, "Is it fixed?"
Yes, it is fixed.
Oh, no.
You may thank me later.
Well, thank you now if it flies just fine. I'm going to try and right the ship again.
Oh boy. Can I hold on to you, Silver Codex? You seem like you won't fall.
You place your hands onto these 2 platforms and adjust it in the same ways you did last time, only this time the thrumming is more smooth and the ship goes from this 30-degree angle that it was at, causing all of you problems, which is why you had to keep making so many acrobatics rolls to stay in place on what would normally be simple things, to rolling smoothly level once more. But the other screens continue to flash, and now you actually hear a voice inside your head, pilot, that says, "Unable to comply with full order. Stationary procedures are in place. Please make repairs."
What other error messages are still up?
As you look over at the other error messages, you realize that other error messages include the off-balanced load that it indicated previously. Pilot attunement is still in place, so you're going to need to attune. You're going to need to fix the load issues. 2 of them have gone off with the repair to the one main mast, and the other one talks about repairs to the hull.
Okay, guys, I need 2 more repairs from you guys. We need to fix the fact that the load is like off, and I guess it's probably keeping the ship weighted down in a really weird way, and that's probably not good. So we need to fix the load, and there are some repairs needed on the hull.
Repairs on the hull. I am your gnome.
Hey!
Hey! Random disembodied voice.
Problems. There's probably heavy stuff that needs moving, and you guys seem capable.
I can take care of that.
Yay! All right.
I am proficient at moving things.
You
All
can
right.
help the gnome. Creeper.
You know, maybe the gnome might need muscle to move something heavy too.
All right. Let's break.
Break.
Where's the hull?
I think the
Ask the
plan
Warforged.
is that the gnome and the Warforged are going to go fix the hull,
Yes.
and then Granok is just going to start moving boxes around until it looks even, I guess.
Until it looks even.
I'm sure he can figure it out.
Though I am not familiar with ships, I believe the hull is the exterior of the vessel.
Oh, lovely. What happened to Flash?
Might want to bring the rope with you.
Who is Flash?
Another person we were traveling with earlier. I appear to have misplaced him.
He probably fell off the ship with the captain.
And the quartermaster and every other.
I don't remember throwing him off the ship.
Why are you laughing at the death of all the crewmen?
I just don't remember throwing Flash off the ship.
You didn't,
Oh,
unfortunately.
thank goodness. I
However,
thought I had really lost it.
he didn't make it.
He didn't make what?
What happened to the little goblin
Survive.
thing?
He's super dead up here in the cockpit.
Do you remember the explosion?
Not right,
He's
dead.
super
Super dead. Yes, I remember going flying from behind. It was.
Yeah, well, so did he.
Wait, if you can fly, why are you still on the ship?
It was not voluntary flight.
It was. It was more metaphorical. It was more like I went crashing.
No, it was pretty literal. It was literal flight.
Well, if we can recreate it, then we don't need the ship anymore. We can just fly.
It's like
Problem
gliding
is not flying, or rather.
gracefully into things. We wouldn't want to try and replicate.
It was more like
We can-
being thrown.
Oh, I see. And we can't throw each other to Whiteheart.
No, we cannot.
No matter what, one of us would be left behind on the ship.
Though I'd be willing to try, creature.
Well, that is fine. You can stay on the ship, and I can go to Whiteheart.
Right. Would you like me to throw you?
Why are you interested in going to Whiteheart?
I don't as I do not believe we're close enough to Whiteheart for your physical capacity to be able to launch oneself. I believe that would be an unwise decision. However, I am happy to throw you off the ship.
White Hearth if we fix the ship.
Right, fixing the ship. To the hall! I start walking.
I did not finish my thought, and I'll follow you.
Just so you are aware.
From your experience, Silver Codex, you have not had to work around humans that dismissed you so quickly. Many were rude, but, asking you questions, and you were built to serve and give information. That was quite different for you than the previous humans that you have been told to work with before.
Very.
In the meantime, up on the deck, Cheryl's able to give you precise locations about where the hull needs to be patched. She also describes this load shifting, and you realize it's all these Warforged that have come loose with the impact and knocked things over. They need to be put back into places. So Brannick now has a tough decision. Is he going to help move all these Warforged, or is he going to go out and start patching the hull?
No, he's going to move the dang things, the rotters.
Now that I think about it, if we were to throw the half-orc off the vessel, that may lose a majority of the weight.
Throw all of the Warforged off and just, correct everything.
Or perhaps
as it was
loot and explosives and gain back some lightness.
We may not want to get rid of the explosives, as I believe that they are directly connected to flight, due to your previous statements.
Well, that's the magic of this ship. The explosives are for the war. Ooh, shaking the whole camera.
Speaking of explosives,
I would also discourage the removal of the Warforged currently on the vessel, as it is my duty of care to perform maintenance on them.
Is there
you're good at fixing things, and you can help fix the hull.
Can we all hear each other through this whole process?
Yeah,
Okay.
because she can hear everything going on in that room till you leave that room.
Okay.
Once you've left it, no, she only has access right now where you've made the full repairs.
Oh, okay. So,
And
yeah, I think we've all
because
split up.
Yeah, because
okay.
she is focused on communicating with you, her voice is actually seeming to come out of the very walls itself.
Gotcha.
Okay, so now we are trying to repair the hull. Where's the hull damaged? Do we know?
As she begins to work with the screens, now that they're in her language, they indicate via the flashing that you're going to have to hang off the side of the ship, and it's where the cloud silver came straight in and hit the side of the ship.
Rope was required, it turns out.
Yep, so you're going to have to hang somebody off the side of the ship, give them wood, and patch some holes.
Likely the gnome. It's
the gnome. Ghost.
You would rather hold up a Warforged?
Let's have the Warforged hold up the orc.
I'm busy.
The orc is shifting.
As the orc is not currently with us, I suggest that you secure yourself with the rope, and I will dangle you off the edge. And
I don't know how good my nuts are.
They're not very good.
My knot tying skills should be sufficient. However, you should do your best not to die, as that would be very inconvenient.
Yes, I most dutifully agree. It would be very inconvenient.
So, Legend, the room with the Warforged in it, is there like a hatch leading out of the hull of the ship from that room, or
like down out or up? Yeah, because there's actually an upper area that you can get in and out of the ship from. That's how these Warforged were probably put into this back area.
I'm just asking if it's easy to dump these parts out of the ship.
Oh no, you would actually have to take them up through the crane on top to actually get these. And they're not parts; these are full Warforged.
Oh, they're full.
Yeah,
okay.
Unlike the
Some are still alive,
room,
I believe.
The vivisection room is where they've already been ripped apart into separate things. These are full Warforged.
All right. Well, he's just going to start picking them up and placing them evenly on either side of the room.
You work independently of one another, slowly bringing the ship back in, hammering boards that you've gotten from down deck over the massive holes. The gnome notices something that she still hasn't told the rest of you about, because even as she patches out here, you notice that inside this part of the hull, there's long vines growing along underneath this wood. And again, this ship, as we said, is made of this most elegant mithril and ebony wood, and it's amazing. And inside of it appears to be living veins.
As strange as it feels, I'm suddenly glad Flash was dead. He really wanted to see me build one of these in a week.
Did you say that out loud?
Come through on that one.
Did you say that out loud?
No.
Damn it.
Just inner monologue. Hammering away.
She probably hears Flash in her mind, though, either way.
Yeah, you know.
As you work on all this, Cheryl has become so close to getting attuned to the ship as each screen the warnings have gone off of that there's only one warning system left. The outside of the repairer's hull, Granick has actually now gotten over much of his fear and put all these warforged balancing the room, keeping the ship balanced and whatnot. And the only warning sign left is orrery out of alignment. Oh, I'm sorry. There actually is another one, which is still there is a load imbalance, but that's in a different area. And according to Cheryl, it's minor. There's still minor lights all over, even with the repairs you've done, because the ship is not fully repaired by any.
What is an orrery, and why is it dangerously close to a word that Flash would probably screech out?
You know what an orrery is because Silver Codex, with his history as a sage, knows an orrery is all about an alignment to stare at the different planets. So it would be a magical device that you would never expect to see on a ship. It has to do with creating portals to other planes.
Of course, I knew all of that.
You do, because you're Codex.
I have no idea where the orrery is on the ship. Do I know? Do I know? Do I know where it is? Could I know where it is? Should I know where it is?
Sure, why not? You know what? Because you've already completed your time. I believe you're here for your decommissioning. So yeah, you actually do know some of the plans that were being made for speculation about this ship. And
I'm a sage lady ding
dong. It would be in the base, the bottom of the ship.
I think Doris found it just exploring, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
She did.
Okay. So has it been communicated to us that that's the only thing left?
Yes, once you guys get these things fixed, I am coming on saying there's still another like minor load error, and I'll say where it is. There's a few other minor things. I think we should be able to fly with minor errors though. But there's still this one other thing in it's the orrery.
Oaha?
I don't know. The orrery
indicates it's at the bottom of the ship from everything that you can see.
The very, very bottom of the ship.
And right above
go
that
down, and if you can keep going down, but like if you leave the ship, don't go down.
I should be able to assist with this.
Although if you get that far down where you've left the ship, I don't think
there's any coming
back up.
Except maybe with an explosive and some flying.
You know.
As Silver Codex and Doris
get the boxes.
Okay.
I'll move the boxes. Okay.
I'll move the boxes.
Silver Codex and Doris get down to the base, and for Silver Codex, he doesn't even have to roll. He knows exactly what the problem is. Inside this deep dished bowl with all of these runes on it and whatnot, and these movable arms, are this set of gnomish footprints that still have slime on them, tracking right across the runes. And you're like, some gnome has walked through here, right through the center of this thing.
It appears that some sort of creature has walked through this and greatly disrupted the array.
Great! I wonder who could have done that.
How dare they?
How dare they? I don't think they should, like, get punished or anything.
Now that I think about it, being at the bottom of the ship, I assume other individuals would have been at the bottom of the ship. So how did those individuals fall out of the... Best not to think about that. We need to, I assume we need to like realign and then like clean.
Yep, you got it. And as you guys...
Okay. He was just going to say, we need to realign the mechanism and clean it.
Understood. How do we do that?
Realign the mechanism and clean it.
Is there a, like, doohickey or a whatchamacallit or anything of...
There's an emergency supply of Swiffer pads.
If life were that easy.
I am unfamiliar with doohickey or thingamabob, but you simply need to realign the mechanism and clean it.
Silver Codex.
Yes. That is my name.
I know. You are so wonderful, and...
Am I?
I hope. I don't want to be near you if you're not wonderful. That would be a terrifying thought. We're not thinking about that. I assume you are a wonderful person who means me no harm. I don't know how to realign something just by saying realign it. Unless it's like, pick it up and put it here. I need to know, like, do I need to, like, screw something? Or do I need to, like,
So,
I don't know, like, wheels?
So Silver
or...
Codex will, like, walk over to the orrery, and he'll, like, realign, like, the smallest thing possible. Just, like, slightly move it into place, and then, like, brush off any goo on it or whatever. And then say, like that.
Oh, I'll go over and so like what looks to be out of line? What's out of line to know what needs to be realigned?
It appears the entire array has been misaligned due to the. And then he'll sort of stop briefly and say, because of the individual or disturbance throughout the array.
Right. I feel I have nothing to do with that. So I'll just start going through and cleaning up the goo while he realigns, because I think he might know where things go.
Make an Arcana check, Silver Codex.
Do you tell him to realign things?
You know, if it doesn't look like he is, I think Doris is gonna kind of be like, I don't know where any of this goes. Oh, wise Silver Codex. So, do the realign magic. Thank you.
One moment, because one sec, okay?
Okay.
We'll cut over while he thinks, and we'll go to Granik. You're inside that storage room, and you've already looked at so many of these boxes that appear to be fine. They're behind nets and other things. Nothing appears out of place, even though the pilot has told you this is where things are off balance.
Can I use some sort of perception or some sort of I just like look around, see if I can determine what is out of place here, see if I missed something last time?
Sure can.
Is that going to be perception?
Yep, you go for it.
Okay. He gets a 5, so he'll look around and he's gonna call out, Cheryl, I don't see any problems in here.
Oh, some of the boxes fell, like, behind other boxes.
Huh? So, with that knowledge, I'll go and look behind some of the other boxes I've been looking at.
Way to think behind the box, Seth.
Behind the box. Around the box.
Hashtag behind the box. As she guides you to the area of the ship that was originally impacted, you realize what's happened was when the ship was impacted and the hull damaged and ruptured, part of the main spikes, when the captain had yelled, Professor Moonside had yelled ramming speed, actually collapsed the wall inward. The surprise that you notice, no perception roll needed, is all the damage to these boxes that you can see they were crushed inward, but the wall behind it is fine, as if somehow it had self-repaired itself. But now you notice that many of these boxes, which have that same elvish writing, different sizes and whatnot, are smashed open, and the elvish boxes too are filled with dragon shards.
Cool.
There is more money in this ship with dragon shards than probably in all of Sharn put together. Which I need you to make. There should be something connecting in your mind that if you're sitting on this much money, chances are somebody else is going to come looking for it very quickly.
Probably. I don't know if he's smart enough to know that. I think he's mostly just thinking, I'm rich. We're rich.
Cool.
And we don't need to worry about anything. So he figures he'll keep that surprise for when they, get out of this alive first. So
Hopefully.
Noticing what is out of place now, Granok will go ahead and move the boxes into a proper position to try and balance things out.
it doesn't take long for you to start scooping things back up, shoving them into the boxes and whatnot, putting them back in place since the wall has self-repaired, getting it back up. And with that, the final flashing lights for the pilot go off. And during this time, while you've all been out there working, Arya, you now have full attunement. And as the last light goes off, and it's only now minor yellow lights, no major red ones flashing, a voice comes on into your head just like before, and it says, "This unit will take you to Sharn, and then dock. Further repairs are needed at this time, and this unit requires significant repairs, and upon arrival will enter dormant slumber mode until repairs have been completed." The rest of you...
Is there a way to change course?
The rest of you hear a spinning up, and for the first time, as you start pushing against it, Cheryl, you push down trying to correct it, and you literally feel the ship pushing back against you. Every time you push, it comes back. You have your hands in place, and you push, and you try different things, and each time the ship starts to rock and then pushes back, as outside, the ship slowly starts moving forward. And you guys can feel some sort of movement, against you, very much as if you were on an ocean as it starts flying forward. Outside, that slow thrum of the elemental has sped up until now it's a hum. For those of you that were doing hull repairs outside the ship, that moving fire has become a solid ring.
Excellent. Ship, is there a way to change course?
The response that you get is, upon repair, this ship will be able to move at the pilot's discretion. For now, this ship must return to report and be fully repaired. Emergency procedures are in place.
Can I override them to go to a different port?
This ship will be docking at Sharn promptly for further repairs. At that time,
I get it. You like Sharn. Jeez.
So we can all feel that the ship is moving now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, we're gonna live.
Everybody except Flash.
Well.
Hashtag rip.
And literally the entire crew.
Yeah.
Literally the entire crew.
I'd like to point out.
We're gonna dock with a ship that doesn't belong to us and a bunch of merch that doesn't belong to us, having killed like everybody.
Well, yeah, Groundhog is actually going to take one of these.
Perspective is...
Like, I kind of want to crash the ship somewhere else.
Has Griddock shared the
I was gonna
knowledge of the
try and
dragon
get a-
shards?
He was going to.
I was gonna try and bring us to, like, Whitehearth instead of Sharn because, like, I knew that the Warforged mentioned something about, like, Whitehearth, but, like, maybe we can just crash the ship somewhere other than Sharn.
Well, Groundhog is actually, he'll emerge in the pilot's chamber where Cheryl is with a box from the room he was just in. And he'll set it down and he'll go, take a look at this. And he'll just use his bare hands to pull the top of the box off because I'm sure he could manage it. He's tough.
Does Cheryl recognize these things too?
Everybody from Eberron knows what a dragon shard is and knows how expensive they are.
It says that there's 104 in each box.
No. Different size boxes. That was just that one box.
Oh, gotcha.
But
there's a lot
here's the
in each
deal.
box.
It's that cargo hold area is a complete floor of the ship that goes from the bow almost all the way to the back. And that entire room seems filled with boxes. And now you know two things. The ones in common were filled with dragon shards, and the one in Elvish are filled with dragon shards. Which means you are basically sitting on Fort Knox.
Right.
So, if we go to Sharn, somebody there is waiting on the ship or knows about the ship, will know that this stuff is in this ship.
Why would we go to Sharn?
There's emergency protocols in place right now to take us to Sharn.
I know what an emergency is, but not what a protocol is.
It's like a pre-programmed, like, in case of emergency, this is going to happen.
Oh, it's like an order. Okay.
Yes, the ship is taking an order. Maybe the gnome can overwrite those orders somewhere.
There's a simple solution.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We crash the ship in the direction of Whitehearth.
Well, I was also thinking we could crash the ship somewhere. I can't get it to...
No, not somewhere. Whitehearth.
Why Whitehearth?
because that is where we're meant to go.
The ship is supposed to go to Whitehearth?
I'm supposed to go to Whitehearth.
I was gonna say, I think that.
But I guess it's definitely at the very least a pit stop. Go to Whitehearth.
Is Whitehearth further than Sharn, I assume?
Yeah.
You are only 3 hours out of Sharn, all the way at the southern tip of the continent. Whitehearth, which none of you know where it is except for the Warforged there. And that is a secret location all the way up in Coyote. So that is literally a long way away. And this ship, which was on its way to Sharn, which was a docking point, before it then followed further up towards Coyote.
Ayo, ship. Can I overwrite autopilot?
You get the same error message, same voice, almost verbatim, telling you that until it's repaired, it's going to Sharn until repairs are made.
The solution is the explosives.
Hey Doris, can you overwrite the autopilot?
That is an excellent question. I don't know. Let me come check out what might be going on. I assume autopilot would be somewhere within your piloty captaining area. If so,
I would assume.
Basic box that was autopilot.
I would assume.
I will look, and I'll go join Cheryl. I gotta tell Silver Codex that we have much to discuss. For there is a device in which I have made of great importance. I have been looking for someone to bestow it upon, and I think he may be my chosen person. But we will talk later, and I will go join Cheryl.
You start examining and looking for what it is, but you approach it with a tinker's knowledge. This ship makes no sense. Like the living vines inside it, the gears and whatnot made absolute sense to you. But the magics here, how it can speak, makes no sense to you whatsoever from your background.
So, Silver Codex performed maintenance on Warforged, right? So, would that be any way similar to the construction of the ship?
Silver Codex can make a arcane check. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm gonna
Arcana check.
Yep.
All right. Here we go.
Attorney at law.
Big moment. I'm level 0, so I don't have any proficiency, but I should be proficient in this, and it makes me very sad. Here we go. 3.
Add 2 to your roll.
Add 2 tomorrow? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's 4 because I have a +2 to int. So 3, 2, 1. Ouch.
Hey!
You know that it's... You know a couple things. You have worked on and repaired Warforged before. Warforged, who have intelligence, are conditioned more than they are programmed. From the time they come out as living beings, yourself included, you're told what to do, what to think, etc., etc. But just like you waiting for somebody to come get you from that zone, you just follow your orders. So the idea of reprogramming it, you know you would have to have somebody who had authority in it to tell it to do something different. Obviously, you understand instinctively that it's not listening to the pilot because obviously there's a higher authority in place that in times of emergency when the ship is damaged, it is supposed to take control rather than the pilot to make sure that the ship is kept safe.
So all we have to do is get rid of its function that lets it know that it's damaged.
Yes.
Basically lobotomize it.
I do not believe that would be easily done. However, incentivization could potentially work. Inform the ship that it will be continuously damaged the closer it reaches Sharn if it does not change course.
Can it think like that?
Well, it's
I
certainly...
have no plot points to ask if it can think like that with, but can the ship think like that?
You can try. Are you trying it? You can always try.
I would also like to point out that this is like Doris is now in the room where Flash's corpse is. So Unless Doris didn't notice, which wouldn't surprise me, honestly.
Well, you know, he's a little spacey.
Right.
Ship.
Holding on
Going to Sharn is going to damage the ship further. We would like to dock somewhere else in the interest of securing the ship. Do you have a name, ship?
The ship replies, I am the Platinum Egret. Currently, our plans include docking at Sharn per orders. Sharn is the closest location where repairs may be made. This ship must be repaired before any further flights can happen.
But Sharn is going to destroy the ship. We need to dock somewhere safer.
No current docks are known outside of Sharn. Current plans will have docking within 2 hours.
Just dock us on a shore outside of the city. Like, we don't have to go to the city. Put us somewhere else on the continent.
Shores outside of city do not have repair facilities equipped to repair this ship.
Okay. Well, keep going past Sharn to another place then.
The Platinum Egret will go to the nearest facility, which is in Sharn, to have repairs done. And enter
But the nearest facility is an
slumber mode
enemy
until
facility.
repairs are completed. Sharn
I don't think
is a
that's working.
projected dock. It is not an enemy facility.
Okay,
Now,
how do
anybody
we
who knows
lobotomize the
Sharn
ship?
also knows that Cannith is in Sharn, and this is a Cannith ship, as you've already deduced from all the sashes that you found up top and whatnot.
I don't think. Did any of us?
Doris, how do we
recognize-
lobotomize the ship?
What's that? The only
Did
thing
it-
you guys didn't find out was the 2 emblems. None of you guys did those separate silver emblems. The only one that found anything out about that was Cheryl, who pulled out the dagger, but then didn't research it any further than that from the previous pilot.
Gotcha.
If I knew more about the ship, I would have an answer for you, Cheryl. However, I have no idea where the ship thinks. To be able to handle its pain receptors of sorts to...
Can I try to push to see if the ship turns?
Absolutely. Make an athletics check to put all your weight onto one and try and force it.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to contribute 2 plot points to this.
I'll also contribute 2 plot points.
Give a +4.
14.
Anybody else tossing in plot points?
I don't know if I have any.
I have none.
I only had
He's
to
given
say-
us like them in bulk several
I
times.
spent my 3 on Callisto last time,
I
so
haven't been keeping track of them yet. I need to find a way to do that.
I just put them in my inventory.
Flash had 12, but I'm not counting those.
Well, normally I have the circles open on your character sheets, and the blue circles on each one of your character sheets we use for that. So that's where you usually just hit +1, minus whatever you're using up there. So whenever we're doing that on Roll20, and again later on we'll switch over to Fantasy Grounds, you can use those
Oh,
right
yeah,
on
I
there for
forgot about
tracking.
that.
Because that's what I do, is I will occasionally add to those blue circles. If you guys are talking and I see something, I just toss them in.
Gotcha. Okay.
So if you have any in there now, assuming that you're more than welcome to kind of use those that are in there already. She gets right up onto it, gets on top of this thing, and as she lets go of the other handle, literally the ship comes to a halt. And she knows enough as a pilot that unless she's standing there with hands on both, the ship doesn't go anywhere. But it doesn't change course either. So your choice is either stand still and wait for the next pirate ship to come in and get you, or let the ship go where it wants to go, it appears. Unless you can find a way to lobotomize it.
Why don't we want to go to Sharn?
Because there's a lot of money on this ship, essentially. We want the money. You could fund all of your inventions for the rest of your life.
Doris wasn't
Oh, goodness,
privy to this
money.
information, so Granak will actually motion towards the open box full of dragon shards.
Wait, if money is the concern, simply give individuals who want money for repairs and then leave. Easy solution. We still go to Whitehearth.
The problem with that creature is that this is going to return to the people who own the ship.
They will know the dragon shards are there, they will count them, and they will know that we are thieves. Right now, our
Wait.
faces are not associated to this.
Why are we thieves? Just simply give them what they own and go.
They own the whole ship. We'll never get to Whitehearth if they take the ship.
Well, clearly they wanted to go to White Hearth for a reason, so we'll
But
go
the whole
there.
crew
They'll
is
send
dead.
I'm sure they can find a new crew. They'll just put a new crew on the ship. Go to White Hearth. Simple solution.
Or we could lobotomize the ship still. You know.
You said you don't know how to do that.
I don't, but if we give me enough time... I
Okay,
mean, the
but
ship's
we only
stocked
have
with-
so much time before somebody else comes looking for us.
I would strongly suggest against tampering with the ship, as it could crash and kill us all.
If What's-His-Face and Moonsong knew that this stuff was here, I can only imagine how many other pirates knew that it was around.
Money is of no concern to me. As long as we don't get arrested, I don't care about stopping at Sharn.
Could always
have-
just
Bigger concerns in my life than that of money.
pocket some of them and then land in Sharn. Find some of the nicer ones.
Could we re-damage the arms, but in a way that makes the ship go down slowly?
Looks at Doris.
That sounds mighty dangerous. I say we just go to Sharn.
I don't think you realize exactly how much money we're sitting on here. This is one box. There are
I used
hundreds
to
of
work
boxes.
in a guild. I handled money all day.
Was it yours?
It was not my money.
This is still not your money.
Well, who does it belong to now?
It belongs to the people who own the ship. Clearly there's some sort of higher authority here.
Yes, and we took a job raiding the vessel.
Wait, you were not originally part of the crew?
You
Well,
I've already
guys.
told you
Oh,
we've
there we
defeated
go.
your crew.
Of course, you weren't part of the crew either, but
You've said many things that didn't make sense. I assume that was just one of them. How does she pilot the ship if she was not the pilot for the crew?
Because I'm a natural.
Is that a specific kind of species?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm unfamiliar.
Very rare species indeed. You got yourself lucky to have met me.
This entire voyage seems very devoid of luck.
Look at Granick. Just go find some nice ones. Because it seems like we're going to Sharn.
All right. Do you know how to identify more valuable dragon shards, Gnome?
I might. I will help you find the nice, pretty ones. All right.
Let's go then.
Categorizing and organizing is something I'm extremely proficient in.
Alright, you can help them.
I don't trust you. You're like a cop.
What do you mean by cop?
I'll tell you later. No, I won't. He just leaves.
I am a warforged, dedicated to blah 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 and blah blah blah.
I see nobody's listening to me.
What?
No, I was talking for the Warforged. I'm a Warforged dedicated to... Nobody's listening to me.
Oh.
It's not a person. Why would you listen to it? It's like listening to a suit of armor. What the heck?
And look for anything else that might be useful. Okay, so now that they're leaving to go check out Dragon Shards, I'm going to spend some time, now that we've got things working, like investigate the dagger a little bit.
as you look at the dagger, you can make a oh, let's see. Judging, what's your background? I need to set a DC, so I need to know.
I have a mixed background, running away from people and having multiple identities. So that's about all it says. It doesn't
Well, that
list
multiple
specific.
identities is going to help you out quite a bit. I would like you to make a make a history check, actually. Make a history check.
21.
Wow, beautiful. You know exactly what this is. This is the Bombar clan. They are a crime syndicate in Sharn, possibly much larger than Sharn, but they are absolutely well known. This is the equivalent of Eberron's Mob. You know this symbol. So you know the pilot was stabbed in the back by somebody from the crime syndicate family, the Bombard clan. Oh yeah. You have walked in on the middle of a major hit.
I might be able to sell that information later. We'll see. Oh, either way.
Boromar. I'm sorry, I said Bombard because I'm thinking of the Bombard in our chat. Boromar. I was like, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right. I had to look at my notes and I'm like, oh yeah, he's in chat. Sorry, Bombard. You're not part of the... I hope you're not part of the Boromar clan.
Whoops. Alright. Put the dagger in with my stuff and let the ship keep doing its thing. Has anyone ever told you you're a very stubborn ship indeed?
The ship does not reply. In the meantime,
right.
So have you guys got a plan for what you're going to do as the ship is getting closer to Sharn? Because again, you know, hour and a half out, then an hour out. What are your plans on doing?
Yeah, they were looking for some of the higher quality gems and like nice items and stuff.
Yeah, so we can hit them.
So you start
also
smashing
fully
open all these
believe-
different crates and just looking for the best dragon shards that you can find.
I also fully believe that with this group, our plan is what our plan has always been, which is just wing it and try not to die.
Yeah,
Yes.
Currently, we have a 75% success rate in
So you-
that last category.
So it's my responsibility as DM to always give you player knowledge, or character knowledge. So your characters now know that in the middle of a war time, you've stumbled across what appears to be a war shipment of the equivalent of huge amounts of value in the middle of transport, and your resulting actions are: we got on board this ship, the ship is now heading to a port, and our decision is to smash open everything here and find the most valuable things we can get as the ship goes closer and closer to the port.
I mean, we can blame the other people. We can honestly say that, like, you know, we were part of this group, that we didn't know what they were doing. We wound up in the middle of this. We wound up defending ourselves, fixing the ship, and just trying to get it back to Sharn. There were so many other people that were involved that we ended up killing off because they were attacking the ship.
We're innocent bystanders.
I'm a Millicent bystander.
Conspiring with Cheryl, Grand Uncle say the truth is largely on our side. We didn't know what we were signing up for.
It's true.
And we did bring their
always care
ship back
fully about the truth, but it's a good thing if we repaired it and we bring the ship back to them and stuff.
Precisely.
And we threw so many people overboard. Honestly, half the junk they're missing. They might as well go dredge the ocean to find those people and whatever's in their pockets.
Indeed.
I think that's wise, especially with the fact that the ship was hit from somebody else. They might have already looted that before you got here, of course. Yeah. I think this is highly believable. This will work.
We need to... Well, we'll just need to tell them that Moorgrave University is the one that hired us, and then the blame will go where it needs to go.
And hopefully the ship is not actually taking anything to anybody from Moorgrave University, because obviously Professor Moonsong was exactly who he appeared to be. So, you know, this works. This is very highly plausible. I like this. This is connecting well. So, over the next hour or so, the ship moves along at its steady speed, and you begin to notice other ships coming in and out of Sharn, because Sharn is this major port. None come flying too close to you and whatnot. It's not too unusual until the ship starts losing altitude. You had left from one of the tallest towers there on the edge. This ship starts coming in, going closer and closer till it's merely 100 feet off the ground, and you're heading towards the cliff, which is the lower part of Sharn, the more poor area, and starts moving and shifting and coming in towards an area that you realize is docks that are never used. Yet, sure enough, there's a tower. The ship pulls in at the tower, slowing down until it's in place, the fire elemental continuing to spin, and moves up right against one of the edges, stops, and as it does, you can hear some commotion from near the ship. It sounds mechanical, and the ship locks into place. As it does, the last voice that you hear, Cheryl, is the sound of the ship once again saying, "Shutting down. Repairs required. This unit will enter slumber mode until the unit is fully restored." And then the voice goes silent, and the spinning elemental flame slows down once more. You are now docked within Sharn.
Now is our chance to get off the ship.
Okay, let's kind of look around. What is the ship docked at exactly? Like,
this is a low-use, run-down section of the city. Many of the buildings actually appear to be somewhat empty and whatnot, and you can see signs of life in some of the taverns nearby. So this is where the cheap docks are. This is the where if you possibly didn't want to be noticed, but the problem is that makes it also the most corrupt sellout part of the city there is. And as you're looking out, taking all this in, you see a tall humanoid figure walking up the dock towards your ship. It doesn't take any serious feat of brain matter to realize it's the harbor master of this dock coming to do what harbor masters do: collect fees and inspect your ship.
Yep. Okay.
Cheryl, our acting captain.
Oh.
I'll leave this to you.
Good evening, harbor master, I assume. I am the interim captain here.
Granok is going to study this guy. Is he wearing any kind of banner, any kind of insignia?
Wearing the colors of Sharn, and it's a she, not a he.
Okay.
And she looks at you somewhat curiously and says, "Acting captain? What do you mean?" She looks at the ship and says, "And what's the name of your ship?"
The Platinum
Egret.
Egret.
She starts jotting it down in her pad. She says, "And your
And,
cargo?"
Don't exactly know. You see, there was a scuttle in the sky. We were on somebody else's ship, and the captain there
Textile goods.
The captain there attacked this ship. Both captains are now dead. We salvaged the ship from being stuck, kind of almost falling out of the sky. We got it fixed, and it had an autopilot back here to Sharn. So, like, we just kind of let it do its autopilot thing.
Make a persuasion roll.
That was atrocious.
Yeah, even Shalindra's confused on that one. She's like...
Even
she goes,
Silver Codex, who literally doesn't care about the money, tried to lie
goes,
for you.
What are you... Luckily for you, she goes, "Is this some sort of joke? I'm not amused." She says, "What is your cargo?" And now you can see she's more angry. She goes, "Don't waste my time."
Textile goods.
Quantities?
Massive.
A lot.
Takes
Have
a
I
deep
ever
breath,
heard anything about how
sighs,
to...
and starts walking up the plank onto your ship. Going
Okay.
past you. Says, "You, captain, come with me.
Oh.
Crew."
Following.
Granok will really quickly tug Cheryl and say, "You don't have to follow. We could just run."
Oh. How athletic is Cheryl? Cheryl's not really an athlete, but this is seeming like a good time to run to Cheryl. Not my ship, not my circus, not my monkeys. I say it's time that we go.
So you're giving it up?
Yep. Bye.
How about you, Silver Codex? Giving up the ship?
Well, Silver Codex likely would not run because no one told him to run, and he was told to wait on the ship. So he's going to wait on the ship till he can get to Whitehearth. So he's going to stand on the ship.
How about you, Doris?
Doris isn't running because Doris is staying with Silver Codex.
There's a beautiful split in this party of the good characters and the characters that are like, I'm not evil, but like, I'm a little neutral.
So Cheryl starts running. Granok starts running. Granok is actually going to stop. Granok, who is carrying Flash's body, by the way. It's an important detail.
Whoa. Hold on. You're carrying a body while you talk to her?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Yeah, that
That
kind of
changes
like... She's
everything.
like... What is this?
This is our comrade. She's telling the truth. This isn't our ship. We simply returned it.
To clarify, I was and still am a passenger of the vessel.
The tool was here.
She looks at you and says, Warforged, what is your designation? And she looks up at the Golra on your head and starts sketching it out. She says, what is your designation?
Silver Codex, indexing and maintenance.
She says, identify each of these individuals and how they have come up aboard your ship.
This is Dorius. He climbed on my head.
Hi.
This is Grinnock. He's a half-orc who stood behind me while I was trying to communicate with the individual on my head.
Cheryl, she's a natural.
Cheryl says, how much textile goods are aboard this ship? And where is the rest of the crew?
Unconfirmed and slightly unconfirmed. 2 individuals told me that the captain and the quartermaster had both fallen overboard during a, he pauses for a moment, skirmish.
She sighs, she says, she looks around, noticing the value of the ship, the mithril, the wood, and she says, and you just expect me to believe that a fancy ship like this and the crew fell overboard?
The ship was literally tilted and falling out of the sky.
She coughs really loudly. She goes, tilted and falling out of the sky, and you just fell onto it. An expensive ship like this.
I said that the ship that we had previously been on crashed into it. We were hired by someone who we did not know. He claimed to be from a university doing some sort of scholarly expedition.
She coughs again.
To clarify, when they say we, I am not included in this.
No, he was kind of asleep on the ship, and we found him.
I do not sleep.
He was kind of not awake on the ship, and we found him.
She looks around, taking in some more of the mithril and whatnot. She goes,
can I try and size this woman up to see how likely she is to be potentially bribed?
oh, she's absolutely looking for a bribe. She's coughing, taking in the value of the ship, kind of like figuring you guys are just so full of garbage, coming up with just garbage stories right now. But I thought you were already running.
No, that changed when there was a dead body in the conversation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
fair enough.
Retcon to the retcon.
I'm going to subtly just to say, I realize things are a little crazy here. We promise we'll get our repairs done and we will be right on our way. And I'm going to offer to shake her hand.
She shakes your head and then pulls it back. Go ahead. You look like you wanted to say something.
No, I was just going to say, I'm going to try and subtly pass her one of the dragon shards, because I'd had 2 in my pockets. Pass her one of those.
What type of dragon shards did you take? Were they expensive ones, not expensive ones?
I did the nicer ones. I'm gonna, which of the couple that I have, I'm gonna give her one of the less nice ones of the couple that I have, but we had purposely cherry picked some nice ones. So either way, it's not just a common one.
Yeah, no, that's it. She looks at this thing and looks at all of you. Her eyes go wide. You just handed her this dragon shard that is probably more than people earn in years. And she looks at this and quickly shoves it away and says, textile goods, repairs, if the money's right and the questions are few, you probably want to see Sebastian over at the Fabricators. Go over to Half Tusk Fabricators. He can fix your shit for you if you're willing to pay like this. She says,
absolutely.
And naturally, you'll be needing this dock for not long, I'm assuming.
Not long is what we're hoping for. Just we want to get repaired and get moving again.
He goes, ship like this is going to catch a lot of eyes. I suggest you be quick.
We intend to. Thank you.
And with that, that's where we'll cut it for tonight. You're back in Sharn. Now you have the ship with you. And now next week we'll continue on with these NPCs. Okay. What we're going to do is figure out whether or not, what are the ramifications of what you've just done? Are you going to be able to find somebody to fix the ship? Will the ship be yours? Will the cargo be yours? Who's looking for the cargo? All important questions to find out next week when we will be wrapping up this adventure. This adventure will end these NPC stories. This has been the What's Past is Prologue module from the Adventurers League. And we are finishing it up in preparation for the characters that everyone else will be running. Why don't we give a little quick preview of what characters you're planning on running? We'll start right in the upper left again. Seth, tell us about what you were planning on running for what will be our ongoing campaign, Relics of War.
Right. So I'm a really big fan of the Warforged race. So I have crafted a Warforged Ranger on Darien, commissioned from, of course, House Kenneth. He goes by many names, but what his job was during the last war was keeping an eye on the northern forests of Aundare.
Mm. And now for you, Arya, tell us about who you were planning for our campaign.
I'm planning on playing a character named Ionia, who I just happened to have sketched during this session here.
Oh.
She is a warlock. She grew up in a rather artsy nation and was drafted into the war, so not the greatest addition to the war, but nowadays she uses her skills to travel and really try to help people, put a little goodness into the world, and try to share the fact that she has found new purpose in her life after the war, and she just wants to share that purpose with everybody else.
Nice, very nice. Kitty, tell us about your character plans.
So I will be playing a rogue named Lythander, and you know he's a character. Regardless of any magic around him, he's very obstinate about certain properties that may or may not exist in the world. And he came from a small village and is now looking to set himself up somewhere bigger and more ritzy to his lifestyle.
Nice. And you, John, tell us about your plans.
Barry Dimwater, despite very, very many people who would probably argue otherwise, is the world's greatest wizard. He's a foundling changeling, and he's very particular to one specific half-elf appearance. And because of that, he has gotten into a lot of mischief throughout his years and will probably bring nothing but bad luck to our future group. But it'll be fun bad luck. So
We'll see.
This
particular group of players hasn't dealt with bad luck the best so far.
I'll be real. If I die in the third session with Barry, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I got this guy so fleshed out. I'll just be like, well. His death rattle, he gives a 70-minute monologue.
Despite all of the history with the war and everything, we have a very happy group of characters. It's astounding.
Well, it'll have a lot of juxtaposition that we can do in there. So that'll be something that you guys can look forward to if you tune in. Well,
Monday.
Specifically next week, but if you tune in every Monday, every week, but particularly, I believe, the week after next, you'll get to meet our characters for real.
Right.
And that'll be awesome because I'll be real. We've talked about these characters. We brainstormed about these characters. And these characters rock. These are nice.
You know what? Even though we are going to wait for the new overlays, maybe depending on how things play out next week, where the end is and the after party talk, maybe we'll even do like a little bar scene with your characters and whatnot. We'll let it play out.
Yeah, that'd be something very cool. Anyway, I believe is that everything?
I think our time's up.
We have 2 minutes.
One last thing on our 2 minutes. We didn't have any entries that I saw, so next week we will be giving away the Franklin Mint plate with the Wizard and Dragon, part of a set that we have here that we're going to be giving out. We're going to ask simple questions, as we said, each time during the show. If you happen to post, we will mail one off to you. If you happen to post the answer to our question, we're going to randomly pick from those that answered. This week we didn't get anybody that posted. So Franklin Mint plates, they're named and numbered. And we just thought that'd be kind of a fun thing for the earliest individuals who are watching the show to do along with us.
Are we disqualified?
You are. Because you know it, because it's about your character.
All right.
But you can ask all your friends to come in, and you can let them win. So, all your joy and your winnings are from playing. So I want to thank you all. Tune in next week from 9 to 11 when we'll be playing again. From Relics of War, thank you to all our fans out there. We'll see you next week where we'll be making more great adventures,
everyone.
more memories, and becoming family together. We'll see y'all later.
Have fun.